Hey, vous autres, it's Dani. So today, we are going to fill our journal and make a spell candle for creativity. So, I love doing candle work. Like, I do. I love it because I like to be able to burn out my candle, have this spell go, and just, like, I don't know. It's like a vibe. I love it. So I often kind of experiment with different candle spells. So I wanted to have a very creative, abundant, bright, successful vibe in the shop today. So I decided that I was going to create a candle for creativity and then fill a little page in our journal. What I often do is I want a full page. I like a full page for doing spell work here. So what I usually do and how I usually document my little experiments, I usually write down what I gather, which I'll show you in just a bit. I write that down. I write down any kind of ritual associated with it. What did I do? Did I decide to add any, really go through where the intent lies, what was put into it kind of thing, right? And then I often like to leave a little space to take notes or, come back and discuss, do I feel like this worked well, what happened, yada yada yada. So I like to have some space, some room to kind of put those things. So for this creativity spell, I went around and I gathered a bunch of things from my shop. So here I'm grabbing some tiger's eye for action. And then I am doing a shell for my ancestors' wisdom, mysticism. And so right here, I'm trying to decide which one I want. I like to burn stuff in my shells and paint in my shells and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But here I ultimately decided I was going to grab this oyster shell. And then I needed some citrine here for some imagination. And then I am going to grab St. John's wort to keep those bright thoughts flowing, lavender for longevity, some salt, which I am going to put around my candle as I burn for protection. We are going to get cinnamon to remove some blocks. We are going to grab some basil for abundance. This is from my garden that I dried. Then some jasmine for clarity. We are going to get some calendula for joy and creativity, of course. Now, with each of these things, they hold a specific meaning in my spell. Now, if you want to recreate this spell with me, you can use my intentions, or you can look up the plant or look up what you have in your stock, whatever you have, and kind of shift and move this in any way that you see fit for yourself. So, yeah, I always like to say, if something doesn't feel right, or you don't have a certain ingredient, or you don't have, or you don't want a certain intention, shift and move this around. If you need something else, if you want to add something, experiment, have fun, write it down, so you can come back and see how it all works. But with these ingredients, what I'm going to do, okay, so I have my candle melting right now. So what I have right here is my candle kind of set up on a wax melter. So it's a candle underneath my votive candle. It's a pretty big one. I went ahead and pinned the wick and then put popsicle sticks to kind of keep it upright, because I'm going to need to put that wick into my oyster shell. So I'm going to kind of let you peek in right here. Now you can see the candle within the candle. So that's how I melt my candle and kind of keep it all together. She's almost done. But in the meantime, I've gathered some supplies because I think I want to put envelopes on my page. Now, if you don't have envelopes, or anything like that, there are tutorials everywhere where you can make these. It's so simple. It's so easy. Like these as well. It's super easy if you want to make one. You can make pockets out of pieces of paper, or you don't have to do this at all. You can just write everything in your journal and you filled your page. So at this point, you do you as long as you fill the page, okay? Do this with me. Fill your pages. Okay, so what I'm doing today, I think I'm going to put my spell in here. So my ingredient list and my ritual. In this one, I think I want to attach it over here somewhere. That's like what I'm thinking. And this will be where I put any kind of notes, outcomes, things like that. I'm thinking of doing, paying attention to the flame. In this one, we will be able to tuck that in there, and then I just kind of want to decorate it. This is a creativity spell. So I'm just going to kind of play around with the rest of the page because it's part of my ritual. So let's get going. I have this old vintage, it even has like some writing in it. I found this at an old thrift store. It's real junky. It's amazing. But I love the look of old torn notebook pages. So I am going to write my spell work, my ingredient list, my everything on these pages. I'm going to tear them out and put them in here. So that is the first thing I'm going to do. Get our list. I am making mine in a candle. I will say this, you can make this as a jar. You can make this as a witch's ball. Things like that. So if you want to take this and alter it into something like that, you totally can. You can make an oil out of this. If you have like essential oils, like you could do all kinds of stuff. So definitely play around with what you have. So here for this first part, I write a little bit about what it's for. So for me, it's for success and longevity in all creative endeavors, to spark inspiration and imagination while removing any blocks that may appear. I personally like to put a nod to my ancestors when I do certain types of work, so I did that for myself with the oyster shell, as well as when you'll see me later clean it out with Gulf water. So that's just kind of a tie for me. So then I will continue on writing down all the ingredients that we pulled and what they mean. I also will add in sage, because I do burn sage for protection, and also in this case to bring in a bit of wisdom. And then I also remembered that I had rosemary and mint from my garden, mint for revitalization and rosemary to boost some creativity. So I did also add that in there as well. So then once I'm done here, I go to the back and write in any kind of ritual things here. So I'm gonna set my altar space with prayer and connection while I melt my candle, pour that into my oyster shell, place herbs and the crystals into the wax, allowing it to solidify. I'm going to burn the candle as needed, noting the flame and adjusting accordingly, and then closing with breath. So I just kind of put down kind of my basic idea, and then I can come back and forth and add anything that I need as I move along. This is just kind of my main basic way that I kind of put my stuff down. So once that's done, I'm going to move on to making my actual candle. Here I am going to clean out my shell with some Gulf water. Make sure that I get it nice and clean and then really dry before I go ahead and put that wax in there. So then I grab my candle. You can see it's all melted. Now for the fun part, where I put the wick down into my oyster shell, which totally fit. I didn't have to adjust it at all. I was like, yes. And then pour in the wax. I kind of do it from the side because it's way easier. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of the rosemary and mint while it's still very wet while the wax is still super melted, because I'm going to prop these up on the side. Now, I probably should have put my cinnamon stick in at this time, but I didn't, and you'll see it works out fine. But I went ahead and put in some of those right up on the side, and then I'm going to set the whole thing aside and let it solidify for a bit. I want to add my other stuff before it fully solidifies. I wanted to do it a little bit so it doesn't sink all to the bottom. I want to kind of build it up towards the top, so I'm going to let that sit, and if I miss it, I can just hit it with my heat gun. But yeah, while we're doing that, let's get this kind of set. Alright, so I paused to check it, and it was right about time to get that all set in, because it was still a little soft, so I could push everything in there. So I just added everything to my candle. And there we have it. Now we let the rest of it dry. And with this candle, what I plan on doing is paying attention to the way that the flame is going. That way I can pay attention and adjust the spell accordingly. So I will either burn this in one sitting, or if I do put it out, I will put it out with breath, probably, because I want to be pulling in the energy when I'm burning the candle and then releasing it when I'm done. So if I decide to put it out, I will put it out with breath instead of snuffing it out. Or I will burn it down, take note as the flame flickers, and then kind of go from there. So this is our little spell candle. So I'm going to put that up here, and then I am going to finish out my journal page. So I ended up finding this really cool oyster page in one of my vintage books. So I cut out this little oyster to put on my page, and then I just kind of decorated it with some acrylic paint pens and some stamps as well. Okay, so there we have it. Our spell, our ritual, tucked in here, a place for notes, for afterwards, tucked in here, and a little bit of decoration. And we have filled our page. So that's it. With that, now time to try the candle. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this candle spell, as well as our journal page. If you are looking for more journal activities on my membership, we do extra pages. We're filling every single page in this journal with the hashtag fill your journal. So if you are looking for more content, check there. We are going to do a spread on candle flames to kind of talk about this candle and how it's going, things like that. So if you want to keep up with that, the links are down below, as well as how to book a reading, to find my Etsy shop where I make these journals and all kinds of other random things. That's all down below, and we will talk very soon. So I am sending you all my love. Mwah. Later, Gators.